SawadeScah, what's up mga kabog? This is Scarlet and welcome back to my channel. Alright guys, so today I'm going to be a bit serious, yes, because I'm going to be switching on my teacher side, and this content is very perfect for teachers because I'm going to give you some tips on how to do online classes. I mean, I know you know that, but there are some tips or grassroots ideas that I would like you to consider when you do online classes, and I think students can also learn from this. Recently, I have been reading some comments and rants from students who are complaining about the many workloads that teachers have been giving them, especially that some private schools or institutions have already started the school year. We teachers have to understand that this kind of situation right now is already affecting our students psychologically because they actually miss the human connection that is fostered in classrooms, and the interactions during recess, during breaks, or while waiting for their teacher to come in the classroom are just irreplaceable. The fact that even if there are a lot of homeworks and workloads they got from teachers, they become lighter if they do that with their classmates and friends, no matter how many or difficult they are. I know we are all adjusting here, but as teachers, our priority is students learning. So the tips that I'm going to share to you are actually deductions from the recent webinar that I've attended last week, I think, and this involved people from University of Santo Tomas, De La Salle University, University of the Philippines, and Ateneo de Manila University. And the most important thing that I've learned from that webinar is that even the big schools are really adjusting a lot. Alright teachers, so let's now head into the first tip that I've listed here, and that is simplicity is key. Simplicity means with a new normal, we have to make sure that our lessons are short and simple or easy to process. While it's very important that our lessons involve tasks with higher order thinking skills, we have to remember the fact that not all students have the right resource persons at home to guide them when they can no longer understand the subject matter. In order to make our lessons simple and easy to process, we have to make sure that the lessons are bite-sized by making our reading materials and videos concise. In this way, we are properly managing the input that we give to our students. So just present the salient points that they are expected to learn. So if you prefer making your lessons through pre-recorded videos, you have to remember to be consistent in terms of duration. For example, if you started with an 8-minute video or 10-minute video, then you have to record your next video with the same amount of time. The same thing goes with preparing reading materials. If you started with a reading material with 700 to 1,000 words, then you have to be consistent, because these ways we are helping our students to consciously or unconsciously make the lessons lighter and more understandable. Now, if you are a teacher who aims for longer student-driven projects, that's actually totally fine, because number one, it promotes learner autonomy, and second, it gives them a break from the computer and all this screen stuffs because learning is becoming so digital. And of course, we have to remember that not all students have bandwidth at all. Some actually have, but there are issues because of reception issues. But if you have two versions of your lessons, if you have the digital version and the printed version, just make sure that they are very parallel to each other. Actually, I have seen a lot of friends and some of my colleagues are already doing the module type of modality, but I just hope that these lessons or modules are monitored and checked either in an institutional level or departmental level, not just based on what is expected to be there based on the curriculum guide or syllabus, but also the student situation or the current situation for everyone and the availability of resources, both things and people. Because some of us might just be overjoyed with the fact that, oh, I'm done with the module or the videos and I'm so ready for the opening of classes. But actually, that's not just it. You have to go back from the beginning and recheck your module, the content of your module, whether they are too much or not, whether they needed to be trimmed or not, because it's not you who will be reading that, it's actually the students. So you have to go back from the beginning, consider some grassroots, then make some necessary adjustments like conducting student surveys, trimming your videos, removing or editing some of your lessons. I know this is an extra work, but this is really what we need to do, because as teachers, our priority is students learning. It's very important in the first meeting of your class, or perhaps before the official opening of the class, to tell your students that please do not expect that what's entirely in the curriculum guide or the syllabus will be taught to you, because it's very difficult, especially that some lessons or chapters involve hands-on activities. So you have to make things clear right at the start of the class or before you officially begin your classes. Okay, the second tip that I've listed here is listen to your students. While we are in control of what's going to happen in the entire learning or teaching learning process, we have to give our students the chance to speak, and this is actually the time that they can negotiate with us. And open communication in the new normal is very important. I just mentioned that in order to keep your lessons bite-sized, you have to conduct perhaps student surveys or interview some students. In this way, we might be able to discover what are alternative ways our students want to learn instead of doing the activities that we have already prepared, or ask them whether the lesson is too easy, too long, too difficult, or what needs to be improved. These are actually the things that we can get from negotiating with our students, especially before we go on with our lesson. Accepting these criticisms and feedback from our students doesn't make us any less of a teacher. To do this, you have to give your students the chance to go over your syllabus or the printed material or the video or the outline and ask their reactions about it in the next meeting. Only then you can make necessary adjustments. So the third tip that I've listed here is to teach in a particular flow or pattern. I have already highlighted the importance of consistency a while ago, and the thing that I would like to emphasize here is you have to create a structure and stick to it. The structure here refers to the different sections that your students will go through in the entire lesson. For example, you have motivation or warm-up activities, then you have the input or the lesson proper, then you have the practice or the assessment part. Once you establish that particular flow and students become familiar with it, it becomes a routine for them. And once it becomes a routine for them, everything will just go smoothly in the next lessons that you are going to give them. You know, it's very easy to do something when you are familiar with the flow. So the last tip that I'm going to share to you is be everywhere as much as possible. That means you have to be available in whatever form of communication that your students can reach you. So if you don't have any Facebook or Instagram or YouTube accounts, anything that the millennial students are actually using now that's perhaps easier and convenient for them to reach you, you have to make or download one, because part of selecting the right digital tool or learning materials for our students is to consider what are only available or accessible for the students. Alright guys, so those are the 4 essential tips that I can give you when you do your online teaching. And right now it's becoming noisy outside, and I think that's part of the new normal kind of learning. We just have to embrace it positively so everything will go smoothly. It's very important to bear in mind that fostering and engaging online learning or distance learning can be so hard, as it requires an incredible amount of patience and effort. And if you're new to this entire experience, you'll feel that it's like your first year to teach again, and that's okay. Just have an open communication with your students, be kinder to them and to yourself, and stay positive. We can all do this. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you like this one, and if you do, please give this one a thumbs up, and please make sure that you subscribe so I'll see you on my next one. Keep slaying! Bye-bye!